They called it the Void Maw, the unblinking eye, the final god. To 1,000 species across the galaxy, it was the most sacred place in the cosmos. A singularity, yes, a gravitational anomaly certainly, but it was more. It was the heart of their oldest myths, the nexus of their shared faith, the Galactic Concordat. A coalition of ancient, star-faring empires had declared the entire nebula surrounding it a holy sanctuary. Entry was forbidden, study was blasphemy, mining it, that was unthinkable. And then, humanity arrived. We were the newcomers, the loud, brash species from the galaxy's quiet spiral arm. We hadn't grown up under the shadows of ring worlds or sailed the solar winds of twin suns. We grew up on a planet that tried to kill us every other Tuesday. We fought gravity, ice ages, and our own stubborn nature just to reach our moon. So when we saw the Void Maw, we didn't see a god. We saw energy. We saw resources. We saw the single greatest power source in known space. A treasure trove of exotic matter spun off from its accretion disk. The Concordat warned us. They sent emissaries in ships of polished crystal, their forms shimmering with auras of ancient authority. The eye must not be disturbed. They chimed in 1,000 harmonious languages. It is the source of all things, the end of all things. Its peace ensures the balance of the universe. Our ambassador, a grizzled old spacer named Ava Rostova, just leaned back in her chair, a wry smile on her face. Balance is a fine thing, she said, her voice a low rumble, but progress is better. We're not here to pray, we're here to work. And work we did. We built a Tesseract, a mining station that didn't orbit the black hole, but was pinned in space-time by its own localized gravity projectors. It was a monument to human audacity, a spiderweb of steel and neon clinging to the edge of infinity. Our drills, powered by miniature fusion cores, didn't just dig into asteroids. They siphoned plasma from the accretion disk itself, weaving it into fuel and materials that defied known physics. The galaxy was horrified. They saw it as sacrilege. They saw us as cosmic termites, gnawing at the foundations of reality. The warnings turned to threats. Fleets of unimaginable power began to gather at the edge of the nebula. The Vorlag, with their organic, coral-like warships. The Lumina, whose vessels were constructs of pure, solidified light. The Silent Kin, whose obsidian dreadnoughts moved without a whisper. An armada of faith, united against the godless apes from Terra. Their attack was swift and brutal. They expected a quick, righteous purge. They didn't understand. We hadn't just built a mining station. We had built a fortress. And we weren't just mining a black hole. We were learning its secrets. Our defense was unorthodox. We didn't meet their fleets in open space. We let them come to us. We drew them into the gravitational tides near the Maw. Their ships, designed for graceful interstellar flight, struggled against the warped space-time. Our smaller, more agile might fighters, designed specifically for these conditions, danced between them like angry hornets. But numbers were against us. For every crystalline cruiser we shattered, 3 more took its place. The Tesseract's shields buckled under the sheer weight of their holy fire. Alarms blared through the station, the neon lights flickering as our reactors strained. The Concordat fleet was a storm, and we were a single, defiant lighthouse about to be swallowed by the waves. It was then that High Command gave the order, an order so insane, so utterly blasphemous by galactic standards, that no one but a human could have conceived of it. Initiate Project Slingshot on the bridge of the Tesseract. Ava Rostova stood firm, her reflection staring back from the reinforced viewport showing the swirling chaos outside. You heard the command, she said, her voice cutting through the panic. Reroute primary power from the shields to the main gravitational projectors, and spin up the Hawking emitters. All of them. Her second-in-command stared, his face pale. Ma'am, that will leave us completely exposed, and spinning up the emitters to that level. We've never tested it. It could tear the station apart. The station is already being torn apart. Son, Ava replied, her eyes fixed on the approaching armada. The question is, are we going to take them with us? Physics doesn't care about our survival, but it doesn't care about their faith either. Do it. Deep within the Tesseract, something new awoke. The massive gravitational projectors, which had held the station stable against the black hole's pull, reversed their function. They didn't push anymore. They pulled. They grabbed a massive asteroid, the size of a small moon, from the outer edge of the accretion disk. They began to drag it, slowly at first, then with gathering speed, into a decaying orbit, a planet killer, aimed like a bullet. Simultaneously, the Hawking emitters, devices designed to skim trace amounts of energy from the event horizon, roared to life at 10,000% capacity. They weren't skimming anymore. They were provoking. They fired concentrated beams of exotic particles directly at the singularity's edge, destabilizing it in a way the universe had never seen. The Void Maw, the eternal, silent god, began to scream, not a sound, but a wave of gravitational distortion that rippled across the nebula. The Concordat ships, already struggling, were thrown into chaos. Their delicate energy shields, designed to stop lasers and plasma, offered no protection against spacetime itself being twisted into knots. The Lumina light ships flickered and died. The Vorlag's organic vessels cracked and shattered like brittle coral. The approaching asteroid, now glowing cherry red from atmospheric friction with the swirling dust and gas, reached its final trajectory. It wasn't aimed at the fleet. It was aimed at the black hole. It crossed the event horizon. For a single, silent moment, everything stopped. And then, the Void Maw burped. A jet of pure energy, a gamma-ray burst of unimaginable power, erupted from the black hole's pole, perpendicular to the accretion disk. It was a cosmic flare, a burst of rage from their disturbed god. It sliced through the heart of the Concordat armada like a surgeon's scalpel. Hundreds of ships simply vanished, erased from existence. The holy fire of the faithful was answered by the indifferent, cataclysmic fire of the cosmos. The remaining ships, their commanders paralyzed by a terror that transcended mere battle, broke formation and fled. They had come to punish blasphemers, and instead, they had witnessed their own god turned against them. On the bridge of the Tesseract, the crew watched in stunned silence as the last of the enemy ships warped away, leaving behind a debris field of shattered faith and molten crystal. The station was battered, venting atmosphere from a dozen breaches, but it was alive. Ava Rostova finally allowed herself to lean against the console, a slow breath escaping her lips. Her second-in-command looked at her, his expression a mixture of awe and terror. "Ma'am, what have we done?" Ava looked out at the Void Maw. It was calm again, silent, unblinking. The sacred, eternal god had been used as a loaded gun, and now it was quiet once more. "We didn't do anything," she said, her voice barely a whisper, but carrying the weight of a new era. "We just reminded the galaxy that in the great, dark void, there are no gods, there is only physics, and humanity is its prophet." The message spread faster than any warship. Across the galaxy, the story was told in hushed tones. The upstarts, the Terrans, hadn't just defeated the Concordat, they had desecrated their holiest site. They had taken a force of nature, a thing of worship, and turned it into a weapon of war. It was the ultimate blasphemy, the ultimate victory. We didn't need gods on our side. We had gravity, we had math, we had the sheer, unadulterated audacity to look at the heart of creation and ask, how can we use this? The age of faith was over. The age of humanity had begun. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the cosmos, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next story. Let us know in the comments what you think. Is humanity the hero or the villain in this cosmic drama? Until next time, stay curious.